Welcome back to the channel. My name is Tony. So let's get into it, man. How did the Springboks manage to lose against the All Blacks? I think in the build-up, everyone was talking about how fantastic the Springboks are as a team, the players on the field as well as the bench. But yeah, it didn't look pretty. It didn't look pretty, and I think there's been a lot of talk in the interim regarding the first 20 minutes, and I just want to also talk about that. You know, the first 20 minutes were crap. First 20 minutes were crap from the Springboks. You saw a lot of drop balls, knock-ons, handling errors, which just immediately, put the Springboks under pressure. I'm not saying, that the New Zealanders didn't play well. They did play well, but we were our worst enemy. I've never seen a worse 20 minutes, from the Springboks for a while now. And, it's taken me a while to actually do this video because I was pretty upset, man. I didn't actually even watch any reviews or, talking points after the game. I was pretty upset. And it's actually worse, when the Springboks play in New Zealand because, that sort of like fucks up. That fucks up your Saturday, bro. They play in 9 o'clock in the morning and they lose, especially after the build-up that we had. It really messed us up. So let's talk about it and let's see how it panned out. Firstly, I want to just say that Visser had one of his worst games. All right, one of his worst games in the Springbok jersey. I think it was also, they were caught cold. I think majority of the team, especially in the forwards, hadn't played, for a while. For some of the guys hadn't played for like a month and a half, 2 months. So they were caught cold as much as they were, in New Zealand for an extra week, but they were caught cold. So that was the first one. Now you have to ask, did the experiment work? Did the experiment of actually sending guys over and keeping guys, letting some other guys play against Australia, did that work? Because on the whole game, the guys that actually played better, were the guys that were actually playing, that actually played the previous week against Australia. So I'm just gonna go down. I'm not gonna be giving, scores, but I'm just gonna go down the team and give my feedback, in terms of how the guys performed. So starting off with the front row, I think the front row did pretty well. I know a lot of people are talking about the scrubs, but I saw us win a couple of scrubs as well. So I don't think that was, too shabby. All right. So the front row, yeah. But we need to talk about the hooker. I don't know if Bongi is actually, on form. I'm not sure what's going to happen there because my theory, I'm actually planning on doing a video about Joseph Dweba because I don't think he's going to the World Cup. I think what these guys are doing, Erasmus and the coaching team, I think they're going to put in the guy from Western Province, who plays flank, and what is his name again? Who plays flank as well as hooker, the old guy, man. The oldest Springboks to actually debut. All right, I think you guys know him. But I think he's going to play the Scott Brits role, where Scott Brits was taking over as partially an eighth man or a loose forward and partially as a hooker. I think the two hookers that are going to go forward are going to be Marks and Bongi, and I'm not really sure they're on top of their game. Maybe it's rust, but I know that they're reliable. So cross fingers, that they can pick up some steam before we get to the big boys during the World Cup. The locks I'm not really worried about, even though I think Lud didn't really, cover himself in glory. I didn't see, what you usually see from him. So that might be some way that they might want to change. Maybe bring in Mostert from the flank because I'm sorry, but he's not a starting flank. He's not a starting 7. All right, I'd rather have Peter Steff there and have him starting at lock. The loose forward, Visser, it's well documented. He didn't have a good game, but I'll still keep him there. I think the role that they have for Dwayne coming off the bench that's what he'll be able to do, because not only does he provide, good carries, but he also provides that leadership that you'll need at the back end of the match, especially with Sia out. If Sia makes it, I would say have Peter Steph on one end, have Sia or Eskom. All right, I know that Kwacha played well, but I'll have Eskom there, and then have Vincent. Okay. The scrum off, I was really disappointed with Faf. He tried to play the new game plan where the ball is moving up fast, like Williams, like how Williams does it, but it was clumsy. I know that the commentators spoke about, that the breakdown was a mess, but I also think that Faf himself he's used to playing in a slower tempo, and I'm not really sure that the fast tempo and him getting to the rocks, he was getting there and actually compose himself. And compose doesn't mean that you have to be, you have to be slow. You can still be fast, but be composed, So I'm not sure, but I wouldn't want Williams to start either. I'm really, really hoping. I know it's not going to happen, but I'm really, really hoping that Jaden Hendriksen can actually start. If he can start, my best scenario for the scrum halves would be Jaden starting, like what he was doing for the end of the year tour. By the end of the year tour, he was the starting scrum half. So I'll give him the starting role and maybe have Williams coming off the bench. But I don't think that's going to happen. All right. Let's be honest. Going to the fly half, Willem says not a fly half. He's not a starting fly half either. Right? He's more of the guy from Free State. I'll remember his name now. But he's more of a bomb squad. I see him, he's going to be on the bench. And I think going forward, they should just, put money there. Just put money there and believe in him until Henrik gets better. There's no other way. Williams is too slow to distribute. He likes going to contacts too a lot. So you don't see the back line. Now you've got Williams who likes contact, and then you have DDA, Damien Dalinde, also liking contact. So I don't think that's going to work. I think, have Libok there and also have Estes in there. Don't think that Dalinde is at the top. I wouldn't put Dalinde ahead of Estes. And I said this in my last video. I'm sticking to it. He should be, you can't really put him on the bench because we play 6-2 on the bench. And I would say on the bench for the backs, you put Williams there and you put Damien there. So I think, Francois was actually part of the bomb squad. And I think that's why I'll say Williams said. He must play as part of the bomb squad because he covers I think he covers fly half, first center, as well as fullback. And I'm sure he can slot in the wing if needed. And Williams as a scrum half cover. I think those are the two that should be on the bench. I don't think he's a starting fly half. And Libok should be on the starter. Should be a starter. They just need to trust him. There's no other way. You have to persist with I think he's had a lot of injury. The whole last season he was gone, or international season he was injured. Also this season as well he didn't play much for the Sharks because he was injured. So I think stick with he's gonna come right. On the wings, Mapimpi, it's not gonna happen. I think Kirtley needs to be there, and on the other wing, of course, it's gonna be the other guy, the short guy. Then fullback, I think Leroux. I know a lot of people have been blaming Leroux, but I think he's our only option. They haven't spread the wings too much, and we just stuck with him. That's the basic story. So he needs to be there and be trusted. But overall, that game was funny because some of the things what New Zealand was doing was actually what South Africa has been good at before we started changing the game plan. Putting up and unders and putting pressure on the jumper and putting pressure on the second ball when it's bouncing, and we didn't live up to it. So that was strange. How we couldn't control the air, as well as why we're not competing, in the lineouts. That was also strange. I don't even think we competed more than 2 times in the whole game. New Zealand was just getting free ball. Of course, they were taking, quick balls, to the front of the line, to the back, blah blah blah. But I think we gave them quick ball there, and if New Zealand is getting quick ball, what they did to Argentina is what they did to us, man. Because those guys are pretty awesome if they get quick ball. So basically, my thoughts overall in terms of progression into the World Cup, I think we're there. I think we're there. I know a lot of people say, hey, New Zealand's thrashed us. I don't think so. Really, maybe I'm just blinded, as a Springbok supporter, but I don't think they really killed us. I think we killed ourselves. Those first 20 minutes, I don't think that South Africa can play any worse, all right? So there's a big scope of actually picking up, and I'm not sure if New Zealand can play any better in those first 20 minutes, So, and to think that I think within 10 or 12 minutes to go, we were only 8 points after we scored our second try. We were only like 8 points behind. So it's not such a train wreck. I think we needed to manage the game better, and it was just mistakes that just accumulating. What I do know is that the guys didn't lose heart. We did manage to come back and control the game, and when we were controlling the game and we had the ball, we were actually getting over the gain line often. So yeah, I'm upset with the loss. Yeah, that's why this video is late, but I think the guys can be proud. I think it was the first shootout for most of the guys that started, because after those first 20 minutes we actually won the game if you look by points. So I think we're good. I think the coaches just need to be brave and make the changes that need to be made. I know they've got loyalty, they're very loyal to some of the guys that they've worked with for a long time, Bongi and all of those guys, but I think there needs to be, and Damien Dialende, but I think there needs to be some changes there, and I don't think, man, it's going to be a big drop-off if they make those changes, So yeah, but you guys let me know, man, downstairs what you guys think. Yeah, that's about it. I think the game was pretty good, and I think we could have won on another day. I know it sounds crazy, but we could have won. So thank you guys. And I was trying to find who was my first subscriber, man. I've got one subscriber. I'm trying to find who was my subscriber, and I couldn't see it. So, but anyway, thank you so much for subscribing. More to come. Thank you. Cheers.